Yes, everyone, welcome back. My name is Stephen Howson. This is 5 things that we learnt watching Manchester United draw with David fucking Moyes. Number 1, Mason Greenwood was the only positive of the game. Mason moves up to 17 goals for the season, 18 if you include the leasing.com trophy, and I'm fucking Gunnar. It also makes him the only English teenager since Wayne Rooney to get into double figures when Wayne Rooney did it in 04-05. Only English teenager to reach double figures. Just, the kid is an absolute generational talent. He had the most shots last night against West Ham. Totally fucking gone blank on who the fuck we were playing then. He's saving our bacon. He's coming in and scoring mega important goals like it's nothing. He's getting involved with a build-up. The one-touch playing around the box is absolute second nature to him. You can't tell who's the better player, and you could easily make a case that it's him, between him, Martial and Rashford. The fact he's 18, you know he's going to grow physically. You know he's going to develop maturity. You know his decision-making is going to also improve. There's levels and gears that we've seen him play in the academy and the reserves where you know he's going to get through. When he's played centrally, when he develops, when he's given that opportunity. He's unbelievable. Number 2, the squad is just simply too thin. We made 2 substitutions last night. One was Fosu Mensah at half-time for the supposedly injured Wan-Bissaka. That was a weird one. And then Marcus Rashford 5 minutes from time. The rest of what we had on the bench, we had Juan Mata, 32, and definitely slowing down and certainly into the twilight of his United career. We had Jesse Lingard, probably on his way out. We had Fred, Dalot, James, who looks like he's becoming a rotation player at best, Romero, and Scott McTominay. Why can't Ollie trust these players? Why can't Ollie bring on any one of these players? Why are we having to just push on with this squad? If Ollie doesn't trust them, fine. We have to just get to the end of the season. He has to bring in players that he does trust. Why doesn't he trust them, though? Because most of these players we've seen start significant number of games for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So what has changed? I don't know what's changed. But his reluctance, I think, has to be grounded in something. I'm sure he sees the tiredness. He has to. I'm sure he sees the requirement to rotate. If anything, Solskjaer over-rotated in the past. So why now the sudden reluctance to do so? I honestly don't know the reason why, but this squad is absolutely breaking down as we get into the final games. We don't have that long off before Leicester, but we do have a little bit of a break. Is that break going to be good enough for us to energise and go and try and get those points? Even if it is, we then have to lift ourselves again in a couple of weeks. There's half a night off, I guess, against LASK for the second leg. But then we've got to be on it. Now we've got 5 days in between those knockout rounds, should we need them, in the Europa League. But is this squad capable of going to the end of that in the Europa League? And even if it does, is that a good thing? Pre-season is going to be 2 weeks long. Then we're back into a new Premier League season. This is where I think the Premier League and UEFA and everybody has fucked up. Because so many clubs are going to crash all the way in, start a new season without quite being ready. And this season's going to end up in a World Cup. That's the crazy thing. So football's going to be a little bit of a mess. It's going to be a little bit topsy-turvy. And those with good, deep squads that the manager can trust are probably going to be the ones that end up on the top. Now for United, we've got a lot of good youngsters coming through. Maybe that's why we're seeing the likes of Jimmy Garner and Levitt and Laird and Mengi all brought into the squad, because Solskjaer's going, actually, next season you fuckers are going to play a hell of a lot of football. And if he's not, if he's thinking that these might go on loan, then he needs to find players that he's going to trust, and he needs to find them pretty quickly. Number 3, errors leading to a goal. Last night it was Paul Pogba, last week it was David De Gea, prior to that it's been Harry Maguire and Paul Pogba, and supposedly the senior members of this football team seemingly are the ones that are having the absolute individual meltdowns. Why is that? Is it a concentration thing? That's surely on the player. I can't imagine it's a coaching thing. I can't imagine Solskjaer's like, just to make it interesting, why don't you just fucking get pickpocketed inside the D and see if you can get a goal for him? Or handball it, give a penalty away. Fuck it, see what happens. Although I genuinely think some people on Twitter think like that. These individual errors are absolutely killing us. We should have been comfortably inside the top 4 if we hadn't have fucked up against West Ham and we hadn't have fucked up against Southampton. There's 4 extra points, sorted. That's how easy it's been. And those are 2 in the last couple of weeks, let alone the countless opportunities that we've had across the whole of this season where the opportunity has been right there for us and we've gone, no thanks, rather take it the scenic route, make it a bit hard for ourselves. These individual errors are absolutely crucifying us. And outside of the one error that Paul Pogba had last night, Pogba was pretty good. He was second in terms of pass completion. He was first in terms of final third passes. He was spreading play nicely, getting involved, and he was nice and high up the pitch and really trying to make things tick and make things happen. And he was doing it both offensively and defensively. But those individual errors, they're literally costing us points in games. They're not like, oh, he made a bit of a mistake, but nothing, we get a throwing giveaway. Like, they're literally leading to goals, and because we're not at full steam and because we've not got a cushion of 3 or 4 goals inside the game, we're giving them goals away, and it's like, oh, we drew now. Or, oh, we lost now. The timing of the giveaway of the goals in the FA Cup absolutely killed us. Momentum gone. Any hope that we had of salvaging anything, gone. And then against West Ham, the same time to concede something fucking ridiculous. Now, yes, we was the ones that managed to get a goal on the other side of half-time, sorted. But we were unable to capitalise on that because I think that we're tired. Cut the individual stupid fucking mistakes from senior players. And this Manchester United team could go a long way next season. Number 4, we struggle to create big chances. Now, this isn't something that we've seen a lot of in the post-Bruno era or post-Ashley Young era. United have created a lot of good quality chances and they've done that often. We had 9 shooting opportunities against West Ham. Only one of those was considered a big chance. And it's not enough. We had 5 shots on target. That's not enough. You have to be having more shots on target. If you look at the average completion of a shot to a goal, it's around about 20%. It was literally 20% for our on-target shots to goals. Sweet. You need to be having 8 and 10 on goal, and you're going to start to see those 1-0s, 1-alls turned into 2-0s, 2-1s, guaranteeing you the 3 points. West Ham sat back and they soaked up a lot of pressure from United last night. And they made it difficult and they denied space. United have been fantastic at picking apart teams with a low block, something that we was awful at prior to Bruno coming in. I think United, if they'd have carried on in the vein that they were in the first half, maybe the penalty took a little bit of fizz out of us. Maybe it was just the pure fitness and fatigue that took the wind out of our sails and we weren't able to keep hammering like we were in previous weeks. United have to get back to creating chances. Last night against West Ham, those 9 chances that we created, Bruno and Martial created 2, and then Brandon, Maguire, Matic, Greenwood and Wan-Bissaka all got 1 each. It's just not enough. You need to be seeing players creating 2, 3, 4, 5 chances a game. And then you'll start to see United going on doing it. I hope it's just fatigue. End of the season. Been a fucking long season. Let's hope it is. And finally, the big pressure is on Sunday. Now, traditionally, Ollie's done fairly well in the big pressure games and certainly against top 6 opposition. Generally, Ollie has done quite well against them. The team's been set up quite well. We've been prepared. We've executed what we've been asked to do. And we've gone on and we've managed to secure a better amount of points than we have done under previous managers. Luckily for us, Leicester are in the same sort of predicament as us where they look like they've just completely fell off a cliff. They've gassed out and they're struggling to maintain any sort of consistency in getting points. As it stands, United are 3rd in the table. We lose and Chelsea win and we are fucked. Every single permutation is possible. United finishing 3rd, 4th and 5th on Sunday. I don't like the idea that United can come and draw at Leicester. I would rather the pressure was more on, that we had to win. But that's not the case. On Sunday, United can go to Leicester, knock around a draw and finish inside the top 4. providing that Chelsea lose. But with all the games kicking off at the same time, that's a fucking sticky situation to be in. And not one that I would encourage the players to think about. The clearest instruction is go and win your game, and what will be, will be. You're inside the top 3. Didn't mean that to rhyme, that was an accident. But fuck it. This time Monday morning, we're going to know whether United have managed to do it or not. But even if we don't, I want to say there has been clear progress this season. And if it wasn't for the injuries to Pogba, to Martial, to Rashford, and the late arrival of Bruno Fernandes, we'd probably already be very comfortable inside that top 3, which is probably where we fairly would be, starting 11-wise, currently. Which wasn't the case at the start of the season. At the start of the season, the expectations of United was outside the top 4. You had Spurs who just competed in a Champions League final. You had Manchester City, who was apparently the greatest team ever. You had the European champions in Liverpool. You had Chelsea, who had this fantastic, wonderful team. You had Leicester, who started the season like a house on fire under Brendan Rodgers. So there's an achievement here from United if we manage to get inside the Champions League qualification. A lot of people are saying, is it a good season or a bad season? I don't conform to the binary yes, no, black, white, good, bad. There's been progress, undeniable progress from United this season. And I'm happy with that. I'm happy that there's been progress. There has to be more though, because I don't want to see United become Arsenal. I'm not content with finishing in the top 4 season on season. But from where we finished last season and where our average finish has been in the last 7 years since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, finishing 3rd or 4th and going fairly far, getting to a cup semi-final in the FA Cup and potentially getting even further in the Europa League. There is definite progress. And it's not the sort of flash in the pan progress we saw when we finished 2nd under Jose Mourinho, because none of us was like, oh yes, title challenge next season. We was like, how the fuck have we come 2nd? We are shit. If we spend well in the transfer market, we bring in Sancho, we bring in Grealish, we bring in a bit of steel in midfield, possibly another centre-half, United could begin to look like a team that could compete. But there's a lot of things have to go your way. The pressure is on Sunday. But let's not forget, no matter what happens, no matter if we end up outside the Champions League qualification, the progress has been tangible. The debuts of Williams, the debut or the continued development of Mason Greenwood, the performance of Marcus Rashford and Tony Marshall both getting over 20 goals, which nobody thought was possible at the start of the season, the maturity, more or less, of Paul Pogba, the absolute bargain of Bruno Fernandes, the magician of defending that Wan-Bissaka was, and I'm sure still is. There's been some very positives this season. And I'm sure there's going to be more to come next season. So let's not lose our minds if we don't make it on Sunday. Let's hope with everything that we've got that we do.